Let's talk about Yamaha. They didn't struggle as bad as I forget which round where they were at. I think Czech Republic or maybe Red Bull Ring, but they still they were out of the top 10. What are you guys' thoughts on that and on where Yamaha is right now? I believe in Mazzano they're going to be bringing the V4 engine finally to the race, so that should be a good look for them. Miller got re-signed, so and I'd be curious to hear if you thought they made the right decision between Miller and Oliveira. What were you guys' thoughts on how Honda did? I mean, sorry, Yamaha.
Do you want to go first, Sir John?
Yeah. Yamaha, my heart, my baby. My baby. I feel like they're something. They're figuring out something. They of course the start of the season wasn't the best at all. But they were able to piece some rounds together, which is good news. Obviously they're working behind the scenes. But I feel like you have two world champions on your bike, factory bike, and you're struggling to make this thing get in the top 10. It's diabolical to me. Definitely when, for my personal opinion, you have Fabio Quartararo, which is one of the best skilled riders to me on the grid right now. For him to have to struggle so hard, you guys got a lot of work to do. And so I do hope that V4 does something well. I know the regulations maybe won't allow, Quattraro or Rins to race the bike. I wish. Put Jack Miller on it for all I care. But the test rider on it, I feel like you get data, but you're not going to feel the results. I feel like, so I just wish that was slightly different. I would love to see Jack Miller at least on it or to see what it's actually capable of. I do feel like they did a great decision with picking Jack Miller over Oliveira, just because Jack Miller, his persona, as far as the garage atmosphere, chemistry, he's easy to work with. He has a good personality. He can ride, and he can give you some flair here and there. And I think he just has more experience. Exactly. And I just think he has the experience to tap into more than Oliveira. So I feel like they made the solid choice with that. I just want them to get back to being the Yamaha that I want and the Yamaha that I know. Like you got two world champions on your bike. Like you should be in the top 10. And for my personal opinion, you have one of the best riders on the grid on your bike as well in Fabio Quartararo, and he can't do nothing with that bike. Not for a turnover race. He can barely make it a sprint and to get that thing over fourth place. That's a problem to me.
Yeah, and he looks like he's pushing beyond the limits, and he's starting to crash. Where in the previous years he wasn't crashing, so he's definitely motivated. Because you wouldn't be crashing if you weren't motivated. What are your thoughts, Tyson, on Yamaha?
I mean, I agree with pretty much everything Sir John said. I'm probably more pessimistic about them than Sir John. I think they're just throwing whatever they can at the wall and hoping that it sticks. My concern, like compared to Honda's kind of like generally in a similar sort of middle lower tier, and they kind of have some good turnouts, whereas they're all over the place. They'll win a race and then they'll be dead last the next race, and then they'll be top 10 and then they'll be dead last again. And that's kind of a concerning thing for me, seeing is that like you want consistency to a degree. And that's what I think the V4, I think they're just throwing something at the wall at the V4 and hoping that it fixes problems and keeps Fabio. I agree with you, Sir John. I think pure talent, I'll probably exclude some of the younger guys just because we haven't seen so much about them so far, but like pure talent on the grid, Fabio is probably the only person who could realistically compete with Mark on an equal bike.
Yeah.
I would love to see that throwdown. Both of them on competitive bikes would be unreal. I think the only chance for that is 2027, though. It's not happening next year unless Fabio moves to Ducati, or Aprilia.
Right.
At this point, this stage in the game. But yeah, he reminds me a lot of 2020 to 2023 Mark Marquez, like just absolutely riding the piss out of the bike and just doing whatever he can to pick up some points. And it, sometimes bites, and you get hurt for it, or it doesn't work out. But yeah, I'm relatively concerned about that. I hope it works out. I genuinely do, because like Honda, I consider them one of the premier sort of brands. Like, it would be terrible to see them. It's terrible to see them at the bottom of the grid.
That I agree on that, but I have to say, I mean, Vinales can he might be able to run with Mark as well. No,
oh my God, Vinales, see him put a season together.
I mean, no.
Oh no!
You say
no!
Wow.
We were talking about Zarco, and I was like, "You mean Vinales adjacent?"
Come on. Vinales is one on almost 4 different manufacturers. I mean,
I know. It's very good, very impressive.
It's huge. And he already knew the Yamaha was messing up before he got fired.
The motor on it.
He was
right. He said rev bomb.
Never seen a 2-step in a premier racing grid.
Okay.
Oh man!
So Quartararo, no Bagnaia, no Bezecchi, none of those other guys. I'm leaving the young people out. So, huh?
I just don't think they're in the same ballpark. Like,
but you think Quartararo is, huh?
I do, for sure.
Right.
I mean, like, you look at them, like these other guys. Like, I think they're doing the best with their talent and the bike that they have. But like Fabio, you look at the rest of his team, and they're not doing well, and he's doing 10 places above them almost every race. Like, talent shows eventually,
I hear what you're saying. I mean, Vinales is kind of like Miller. I think they both those guys helped KTM take a leap when they got the KTM. So, I think there's something there, but I like what you guys are saying. Let's talk about Morbidelli and the Gin Antonio. Morbidelli got 1 more year. I know some other folks on the show is writing Morbidelli off at the beginning of the year, and Bastianini and some of these guys because they were at the bottom. But I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on Frankie. Did he deserve to get 1 more year at VR46, or is he just is he like Kawhi and the owner of the Clippers?
Fast Frankie Morbidelli. He's a good rider. He has skill. And honestly, he has the bike, which I know not, but he has the bike that is helping make his skills a little bit amplified with being on that bike. But I mean, he can start a race and he can ride the race for the most part, and it's hit or miss on if he saved his tires properly, to finish the race in the top 6. But it's the mistakes he makes so often to me that's like, is mind boggling to me. Like, you make the weirdest mistakes that cost you the biggest penalties that hurt you the most so often. Like, how is this even possible? So that part I don't understand. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone knows it's a big shift coming up in 27. So I'm not too worried about shuffling my grid on bikes that I know I'm not going to be racing more than after next year anyway. So sure, I'll give him the seat too. You're already here. Already got rapport with you. Let's see what you can do next year.
Yeah, my bad. I think Frankie's more like Tony Yayo to 50.
Oh my God.
You love him, but he's always doing something wrong.
He's always doing something wrong, man. Always.
Oh my God.
What are your thoughts, Tyson?
I pretty much agree to the most part on that. Like, dude just can't get out of his own way. Just like, we all know those people who just like all the heart in the world, all the whatever skill or experience, and they just seem to put that left foot right in front of the right and just trip over themselves, I was looking at the standings real quick, and I'm like, I mean, he's beating Fabio by not much, but he's also nowhere near the other 24s. So I think, given the regulation changes, like, I'm not too shocked that they kept him. Like, why break up the party before, like, everyone's going to be looking for contracts coming into 2027. And I think that's what everyone's sort of like, waiting to see, like, what's going to happen, almost like right before an election year kind of deal, like, let's wait to see who wins to see how this economy is going to turn out kind of deal,
Do you think the Gin Antonio and Bagnaia are looking forward to seeing the 26 Ducati?
I don't think they're looking forward to much.
I bet Pecco is. He wants anything but a 25 Ducati right now.
I don't think it's going to help him.
It's not. It's not.
I
As
think
long as
his
he's
only hope is he's going to get second.
You see what Frankie's doing on a 24, and you see what Alex Marquez is doing on a 24. So, and he won the champion. No, he didn't win the championship on a 24, but he was close. He was close. Let me see what else am I. I think they, Aleix came to race, but I think he got hurt, so he didn't really get none. So it's possible that Samcat Chantra may be out of his seat, and also, at the moment, Oliveira is out of his seat.
Wait, didn't Samcat already lose his seat like months ago?
I thought he was hurt.
I think he was injured.
I think it was yeah.
I thought they took his seat. Sorry, my bad.
No, I think he got injured during a practice round, and then the test rider ended up getting injured too. Yeah. So like both of them got injured back to back, and then they threw somebody else on there. Yeah.
The Honda last race was 15th.
Yeah. So, but what are your thoughts on those guys losing their seat? I mean, I feel like Oliveira should have a seat because he had it worse than Mir. I mean, for the last 5 years, some other rider. I think there's only one time that he took himself out. Outside of that, it was like some other rider taking him out and taking him out for more than 4 races in a season.
Yeah. Oliveira's just, that kid is a magnet for wrecks. But I don't know who gets taken out more, him or Mir. But they're always on the tail end of getting wrecked out by somebody else. Every single time. And it's heartbreaking. Because Oliveira does have skill. He was able to do some things and she put the bike up front a couple of times in his career, but for some reason he's just not able to avoid, the bikes aren't able to avoid him. And he's just magnetizing it, so it sucks to see him get written off. But it's we rather got to get faster enough to get away from that group of people doing all the wrecking. That's pretty much your only option, because obviously staying back there is not helping your career out.
I'm really not.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm really not surprised either of them lost their seat, frankly. What is it? You're only as good as your last race. I mean, at this level of racing with this amount of money on the line, it sucks. Everyone would love to have, I gave you 3 good years or whatever. You should give me, a hand or whatever, but that's just not the world we live in, and it's not the series you're in, and it is what it is. But I feel for Miguel more than I feel for some chat. He's seconds off the pace. He shouldn't have been on the grid to begin with. That seems dangerous. That seems like putting a novice in an expert race. You know what I mean? Almost, but.
I think it's one of those things where, not what I think, I know, for riders, if MotoGP comes calling, you have to accept.
Shit, I would take a MotoGP contract if they gave me one right now.
Exactly.
100%.
I don't fault him for it. I'm not saying I wouldn't do the same thing.
Yeah, but if Iaguro went to Honda instead of Aprilia, Samcat would still be in Moto2. But gotcha. It's I'm gonna mess up their name, but LCR, the Asian side, they want a Japanese rider or Asian rider on the bike. As they've done with Taka Nakagami for years and stuff like that, and which makes sense, right? And because there's a lot of Asian riders racing in all parts of Asia right now, and when he goes to Indonesia, where he's from, he's like a god over there. Samcat, even in Moto2, so it makes sense, but I don't think riders should be penalized, because I think even Joe Roberts got penalized because he didn't want to go to Aprilia when Aprilia was really bad, and he should at least have an opportunity to go with the Trackhouse racing team and stuff like that. But I think the parent company, Aprilia, is like, nah, man, you had your chance and you said no to us, kind of thing. So, but what are your thoughts on that?
Pastor, you want to go ahead?
This is on Joe Roberts.
Joe Roberts, and just having to take that opportunity to go to MotoGP when you're not ready. Right.
It's just one of those. I think you're in between a rock and hard place. I mean, I'm sure he understood the realities of that choice. Whereas, if he said no, the risks of them not wanting to sign him again are there. And I think why Samcat took that contract is he knows this is my one chance. Either I do well or I don't get the seat, or if I deny this, I probably won't get a seat anyway. So I'll take the contract and see what I can do. Like, I think that was Joe Roberts' only opportunity to get into MotoGP. I don't think anyone else will give him a contract. I don't think anyone's seen any sort of performances worthy of giving him a MotoGP contract. When I saw that he refused, or whatever the rumors or the whatever came out, I was like, that was a mistake. Like, if your goal is to go to MotoGP, you should have just taken it. But here we are.
And he wasn't the only one. I mean, he wasn't. He definitely. I mean, I think Sam Lowe ended up getting the seat eventually, but back then, and Sam didn't make it the whole season. I don't believe.
No. And that's probably what would have happened to Joe. You know, like, unfortunately, but you know.
Yeah, I agree. So, all right, let's. We're running through. Did you guys catch any of the Moto2 races before we talk about this weekend coming up? It was a pretty impressive race. Gonzalez is leading the championship, and he's fighting, I think, with Canet, but Diego's like right there, and obviously he messed things up this past weekend for those guys and Balaton. What are your thoughts on Moto2 and how the racing is going on for the whole season?
I didn't watch, so I'll leave it to the guys that watched.
Yeah, same here. Like, I really, I didn't watch Moto2. I haven't been following Moto2 too heavy this year. I do know Canet is riding the best he's rode in his career, I feel like, with the consistency. Because I've always wondered about Canet. It's like, why are you not progressing? Because you've been at this for a while, but it's one of those things, honestly, just sometimes your time is your time. And it doesn't come when it comes as early for some people. But I feel like he's doing good right now. He has a couple points he needs to try to close if he wants it. Gonzalez is rolling, so good luck. And you also got the young cat right behind you, so it's kind of like he can't make a mistake. But like I said, for Moto2, it's been a lot of highlights and just kind of catching up just real briefly with Moto2.
But I agree that Canet's riding the best. He's having the best seasons he's had. I think he's won the most races. I mean, he's usually in second place and fighting for the championship this far into the season. Because usually in the beginning of the season, he'll be up there. And then injuries. I mean, like, at least with Mir, he'll fall and walk back. Like, Canet, most of the times he's hurting something. He's breaking something.
He's like Martin.
Soft bones. Seriously, and we saw that he's been riding wounded, for several races this year already, and kind of finished further back. And now that he's healthy again, you kind of see his pace coming back and stuff like that. So, that's one guy I think should have had a MotoGP ride, because I think he is one of the talented riders in Moto2. And I know, like, there's been rumors in the past when he had had too many tattoos, and some manufacturers didn't want that associated to their brand and stuff like that, which is kind of weird because just about everyone in MotoGP has a tattoo. So so that's crazy.